There are a lot of opinions about how we should be responding to the senseless violence we've seen across the country.
Joining us now live in our studio to discuss it are Pastor Maurice Hardwick of Body Believers Outreach Ministries and founder of the Live in Peace movement, and Lieutenant Michael Shaw from the Michigan State Police Unit. Please, we want to thank both of you for being here tonight with us. We appreciate it.
God bless you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. We'll start with you, Lieutenant Shaw. First, let us say that we are so sorry. Our hearts go out to all the members of law enforcement. My father's an ex-police officer. It is not an easy day, as I'm sure it's not an easy day for the Castile family, the Sterling family, Scott family. So where do we begin with this? How do we make change? I mean, we see the stats playing out on every network about how many unarmed blacks are killed as opposed to whites. It's safe to call this an epidemic. What do we need to do?
Well, I think, first of all, we always have to be careful.
Okay.
When we rush to judgment so quickly over a couple of seconds of video, and then we just start talking about things that really nobody knows what happened yet. And I'm not saying that anything's right or wrong, because I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't in any of those areas that happened, and we had to kind of let justice take its course. But a lot of times we rush to judgment, and then we let anger take over. And once anger takes over, there's no way that you can talk to anyone. We've been fortunate in Michigan that this doesn't happen because we have a great community relationship with our community. You see Detroit Police Department in Detroit. You see our troopers that work alongside DPD in Detroit having that community relationship. And you can't start doing it now after the fact that this stuff has happened. If you haven't started community relations 10, 20 years ago, you're way behind the 8 ball.
I think a lot of people are way behind the 8 ball. Pastor Hardwick, let's ask you. I mean, a lot of black men are afraid of the police. A lot of police officers are afraid of black men. I mean, how do we bridge the divide between the black community and the police department?
Well, one of the ways we've been attempting to bridge it is myself and Chief Craig, we've sat down and had a real eye-to-eye conversation about his job, his fiduciary duty, and mine. And he has to respect who I am as a activist for my community, a pastor, and a black man in America in the city of Detroit. And I have to respect him as a chief also in his job. And we begin to have a real conversation that's not just to do a knee-jerk reaction, but can we go and do some forward? Can we go and be productive? And we begin to do that. And the work must carry on. But let me just say to the trooper, my condolences to all that happened. But the one thing we cannot do is placate anymore, play mind games. Not that people are, but it's been going on. We say rush to judgment. Okay, when you see something in video footage, and they had enough time to restrain and back off and know the procedure, that wasn't even the correct procedure. And then let's say rush to judgment. Was it a rush to judgment when Terrence Kellum, officer, has not been named or brought to justice yet? How about when Kevin Matthews? Is it a rush to judgment and it's been months and there have not been any charges yet? The issue in America today is not even bad shots or wrongful killings or even flat-out assassinations. It is the system who looks you in the face and tells you to don't believe your lying eyes and would not charge and prosecute anybody who kills a person in America.
Well, Pastor, it is us who has to go home to our families and raise our sons and raise our daughters, and maybe you can help us with this, Lieutenant Shaw. What do we tell them? I mean, Carolyn, you and I were talking about this. If a young black man or a young black woman gets pulled over, what do we do? We're scared we're going to get killed. Do you raise your hands? I mean, what do you say, sir, we should do?
Well, I think I teach my son the same way, and I don't think it's a color issue or anything to that effect. I think there's certain things that we all do, that I do as a police officer. When I'm driving down the road and I'm in my own car and I get pulled over, there's certain things that I'm going to do. I'm going to listen to what the officer tells me. When he tells me to put my hands on the steering wheel, I'm going to put my hands on the steering wheel. And there's certain things that we can do that. It's good to talk to your children. I mean, you have to. I mean, there's stuff going on in this country that in 21 years of policing I just have not seen before. And I'm concerned that it's going to get worse before it get better if we don't get together as a community, as partners, to go and make sure that this stuff stops. Now, again, we're lucky again. This isn't really a Michigan issue. We're seeing it around the country,
Yes.
but it just takes one opportunity where things can go bad.
Now, the one thing we have heard Chief Craig say over and over again is if the police department and the community come together, and if police officers are in the community and know the community, you know who you're pulling over, you may know that face, you're less likely to have trouble. Do you believe that to be true?
I believe that would be a start. I believe that it would give you a conscious thought process. See, here's the issue. I said it on my Facebook statement. You cannot hate me, be afraid of me,
If you
and
know me.
and still have the same mind to protect me. But if you know me, you're not afraid of me. And then you can talk and you can converse with me and know I'm not a threat to you.
I understand.
And that would make a huge difference. Second thing we have to do is when it comes to proper training, it needs to be new training, a new way to how to approach young black African American males in a situation where you might feel questionable.
Pastor Hardwick, we've heard you, and we're out of time. Lieutenant Shaw, thank you so much for coming in tonight. We want to give
very
you
welcome.
God bless.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you
God
so
bless
much.
both
You're very
of you.
Always a
welcome for
pleasure,
having
sir.
me.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for
being
having
there
me.
for us always.
Appreciate
Amen.
your time.
Praying for the city.